The word family, it's something we all know, right? But what it actually means can be wildly different depending on where you are in the world. So today, we're going to dive in and explore what a family really is from a sociological perspective. And trust me, you might be surprised by just how much variety there is. Okay, so let's start with a big question, shall we? We all use the word family every single day. But if you're a sociologist, what are the essential ingredients? What really makes a group of people a family? Well, a good sociological definition, like this one, kind of boils it down to three key things. First, you've got the ties that bind people together. Marriage, blood, or adoption. Second, they usually live under one roof, sharing a home. And third, inside that home, they create their own unique culture, and they all play different roles. Makes sense, right? All right, here's the game plan for today. We're going to look at family through three different lenses. We'll check out its structure, figure out who holds the power, and look at the central bond that really holds it all together. By the end, you'll have a super clear picture of how all these different family types work. Okay, let's dive right into our first big comparison, structure. This is all about the size and the makeup of a family. Are we talking about a small, tight-knit group or something much, much bigger? So first up is the nuclear family. Now, this is probably the one you're most familiar with, especially if you live in a city. It's that classic picture, parents and their kids. Simple, compact, it's sometimes called an elementary family because some sociologists see it as the fundamental building block of society. So, what really makes a nuclear family tick? Well, a few key things. They're usually autonomous, which is a fancy way of saying they make their own rules without grandparents having the final say. There's a big emphasis on the couple's individuality, and they often move out to start their own home. Sociologists call this neolocal residence. And now for something completely different, the joint family, or what you might call an extended family. I want you to picture a huge household. We're talking grandparents, parents, kids, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone, all living together. This has been the standard for centuries, especially in places like rural India. If you had to pick one word for the joint family, it would be collective. Seriously, everything is shared, the house, the food, the land, even the money that comes in. And there's usually a really clear hierarchy, with the oldest man in the family typically calling all the shots. And this table just lays it all out nice and clear. It's perfect for seeing the contrast. On one side, you've got the small, independent nuclear family with its own property, which is really common in industrial societies. And on the other, the large, interconnected joint family where everything is shared, a system that works beautifully in agricultural settings. All right, we've talked about size and shape. But what about power? Who's in charge? Who calls the shots and makes the big decisions in the family? Let's find out. Well, the most common setup by far, both historically and around the world, is the patriarchal family. The clue's in the name, right? Patri means father. In this model, all the authority over money, property, you name it, is in the hands of the oldest man. And this isn't just about who holds the remote. It runs way deeper. Your family name, your heritage, that's all traced through the father's line. That's what we call patrilineal. And when a couple gets married, the wife often moves to live with her husband's family, which is called patrilocal. As you can imagine, this often puts the wife in a less powerful position. But what about the flip side? It's much, much rarer, but we also have the matriarchal family. And just as you'd guess, matri means mother, and here all the power is centered on the oldest woman in the family. And just like it sounds, the whole system is basically inverted. Descent is matrilineal, so it's traced through the mother. Residence is matrilocal, meaning the husband might move into the wife's family home. And listen, this isn't just some theory in a textbook. We have amazing real-world examples right here in India, like among the Khasi and Garo tribes and the Nairs of Kerala. So when you put them side by side like this, it's incredible. It's almost a perfect mirror image, isn't it? Who's the head? How is descent traced? Where does the couple live? And who inherits the property? It all just flips completely from one system to the other. Okay, for our last big comparison, we're getting right to the heart of it. What's the glue that holds the family together? Is it the bond between the husband and wife, or is it the bond that connects the entire bloodline? So first up, we have the conjugal family. Think conjugal rights for marriage. This family is built squarely on that marital bond. The partnership between the spouses is the absolute center of everything. And if you think about it, that sounds a whole lot like the nuclear family we talked about earlier. The other type is the consanguineous family. That's a mouthful, I know. But it just means related by blood.
So in this case, the main focus isn't the married couple. It's the entire network of blood relatives. The bloodline is what truly matters, which, again, should sound a lot like a joint family.
What this table makes super clear is that these terms, conjugal and consanguineous, are really just another lens to look at the families we've already talked about. The big question they ask is, what's the family's center of gravity? Is it the marriage or is it the bloodline? All right, let's switch gears for a second and make this a little more about you. Sociologically speaking, pretty much every single one of us is part of two different families over the course of our lives. Sounds weird, right? Let me explain. Think about it like this. We all start in one family, right? The one we're born into with our parents and siblings. That's your family of orientation. It orients you to the world. But then, for many of us, we go on to create a new family through marriage and kids. And that's your family of procreation. It's a really simple but kind of profound idea. Phew, okay, that was a lot of new terms. So let's do a super quick rapid fire revision to lock it all in and make sure it all makes sense together. And here they are, the big takeaways. Remember, nuclear versus joint, that's all about size. Patriarchal versus matriarchal, that's about power. Conjugal versus consanguineous, that's about the core bond. And orientation versus procreation, that's your personal journey. Go ahead and pause here if you need to jot these down. So I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. As our world keeps changing with globalization and everything else, is the small nuclear family just taking over? Is it destined to become the standard everywhere? Or will these other incredible, diverse family structures always find a way to thrive? Something to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.